Welcome back to the channel. My name is James. I'm the lead coach for the Endeavour Network, and today we're highlighting our sales and trade series, the workshop that we work with teams and individuals, helping them improve their sales skills and business-to-business etiquette. It's a fantastic experience. There's a lot of personal stuff that goes on there in order to gain professional results. Okay, so we're talking about the history of the sales and trade series way back when I first started back in the early 2000s, late 90s in there. I decided I was going to do this, but it didn't start just because I had a great idea. It started because I had a big what if question. And my what if question was, because I spent some time in sales, I did pretty good at it. I learned some skills. I caught some good habits from great people. And so the what if question that I had burning inside was, what if we could develop a sales training that was more character based than just systems based? I mean, a hammer in the hand of a master can create a great work of art or a great construction, fine quality, but a hammer in the hand of a maniac, they just destroy everything. So, and a lot of times sales tools are great, but if you don't really know or understand how to use them properly or understand how to work with people, you can have all the greatest tools you want, but they're still going to create havoc. So I felt that because of my experiences working in sales teams on the ground, as well as working in a place of leadership, you just kind of watch how people behave, how they mature, how they struggle, and how they achieve, right? So this was my big what if question, is what if we could design something that was character based first? So get the person ready to not only take up the tools, but master them and actually create big benefit from those tools. Because it's easy to create a system of sales training. That's fairly simple in a way that it's disconnected. It doesn't touch the more, intimate parts of personal growth. It doesn't take responsibility over how people manage or mismanage those tools. That's what I felt anyway. And I wasn't the only one in the industry at the time. There were lots of great people, and for many decades before me were really, giving off some pretty good stuff, right? But here's my story. I got the big what if question and I hummed and hawed about it for quite some time. And I had this little niggly in my chest that says, just write. And I thought, well, what could I write? There were so many great teachers and great, coaches out there at the time. Who am I to think that I would have something more to add? I'm sure you can understand that in your business development journey. Who am I, or who do I think I am? Get rid of that thinking. I had to. Somebody thought they were going to help me and say, hey, you should go and look at this great site over here for what you want to do. Well, all that did was deflate my balloon, so it took me a few days to get over that. But once I did, the statement or the little niggly in my chest says, why don't you just sit down and write? And so I took my laptop into the coffee shop and I got away from work for a while. I was self-employed at the time. And all I heard was write. So it doesn't have to make sense. Do it in bullet form. What could you teach in the area of character development as it relates to sales, sales training? And so I just started writing and I committed to the project. And all I did was point form, put titles out that I could confidently actually share some intelligent thoughts on and maybe empower some great achievements in others with that. And so I started writing, and it was something like 2 days later, 3 days later, sitting in the coffee shop for about 6-8 hours a day. And I realized once I stopped, it was kind of like I ran out of gas, like my mind just emptied out onto my laptop and onto the paper, as it were. And so then I stopped, and then I started looking back and looking back and looking back. And what did I realize? I realized that I had 30 pages of point form topics, non-repetitive. They were individual topics that I felt I could confidently and competently teach on to help other people succeed. And all I was doing was using my own personal experience, the things that I had read and I had learned from others. Now, I come from a counseling background, so working with people is natural for me. Um, but I realized that there were 30 pages of topic matter that I could assemble together and really teach on. And that was really the first step, is pulling out from within the experiences and then reflecting on it and going, I didn't realize I had so much there to give. And this is a struggle that a lot of people have before they start out in business or they start out doing something great in their lives, is they have to wrestle with themselves. And I was no different. So I created this, what was then a 3 solid days of content modules. And at the time, 3 days was, that was a big commitment for anybody to sign up to a workshop. But, not going into too much minutia about, the focus groups. And I did a few of those where, I had to learn about my pricing. I had to learn about, structure and tempo of the workshop and content, subject transition, just leading people from point A to point B. And over the years, there was something like 11 evolutions of this workshop, which I've now brought it down to 2 days, and now can be done online, whereas before it was all classroom stuff. But what does this actual workshop cover? Well, it's not like it's rigid where we can't adapt depending on the group size of people that I'm working with. I found that it worked really well intimately with a max of 25 people, but I have done it with as minimum as 6, and I've done it with as many as 100. So it's, the sweet spot, I think, is that 25 mark. But what does the sales and trade offer? Well, we understand sales training, he says this, you say that, or here's some key components, objections, how to handle objections, and what are the best kinds of questions. But it goes deeper than that, right? The trade side is, I found people have a very strong lack of understanding when it comes to trade of value and value of trade, like the value of currency and understanding, what that means. So I added that trade component, in the latter years of putting this workshop out there. But the sales side, first we talk about, personal preparation, attitudes, understanding what attitude is, understanding, that I have certain attitudes. Now, you could call it biases or you could call it experience, whatever. The idea is attitudes are a concluded way of thinking about something. And so we go into understanding that and the power of a good attitude and a bad one, and what makes a good attitude and what breaks one. Then we go into personal preparation. We talk about things like character development. We talk about things like etiquette, knowing your audience, right? And then communication styles and certain bloopers that come along with growing into that sort of professionalism in a sales career. We talk about the power of why, and keeping it fresh is always understanding the power of your motivations. And then, of course, this one got a lot of attention from managers that I would talk to over the years, which was dealing with your personal demons. I use that kind of language because it is true that there's a lot of people in sales. They're good people, but they carry a lot of personal baggage, and they want you to understand that you're helping them when you buy from them, kind of thing. And that sort of pity buy attitude, we need to get rid of that. That's based in a rooted issue where people haven't resolved their personal baggage or whatever. They're bringing it into the professional realm. And it's formed a victim mentality. And I'm sorry, but I don't respond well to people that want to beg for the business. We go into that in depth. And then we talk about negotiation, what it is and how it works. And then, of course, closing with distinction is how to close ethically while upselling and earning repeat business and referral. So what I want people to grab a hold of here is not only do the job and do it well, but do it with distinction. Do it with a remarkable sort of imprint on people's lives where you are a problem solver. You are a person that carries solutions in, your repertoire. So this is what the sales and trade workshop is. Now there's like 2 solid days of content there. It's interactive. Now, Going online, we've had to adjust and adapt a little bit, but I do still will offer a live group scenario if a company wants to come in and work with a team. But there's also, individuals. So we'll take individual registrations. Now, I potentially have a date coming up in September. On our Facebook sort of page for Endeavour Network, I've listed a 20% off registration fee. And if that's something that you or your team want to grab a hold of, you want a more personal experience with sales training and sales, business to business training, then please, by all means, reach out and let us know. The email will be on the screen. And yeah, so thank you for your time today. And I hope that this has been helpful. Please like and subscribe the channel, as it really does help us out. And I look forward to hearing from you with any questions. Leave them in the comments below or send us a direct email, and I promise you we will get back to you in a timely fashion. All right, thank you. Have a great day.